Somebody sent me an email today, this morning actually. It was talking about the sun. I thought that was an interesting observation. And he's a farmer. He's out there, you know, bringing in the harvest, all that kind of stuff, planting things as farmers do. And he was looking up at the sun and he said there's something weird about the sun. And he was saying he gets out on the farm and he doesn't get a tan anymore. There's something strange going on, and he wondered if anybody knew anything about it, and he asked me. And now it's interesting that, because I've known that people have said the sun is a different colour. It used to be oranger, and now it's more white. And I have noticed that actually. You know, you look up at the sun, it's quite bright. Of course, it's bright, but it does seem to be a more white light, a bit like some of the lights that I use when I'm filming. It's sort of a very LED kind of light, but with huge intensity, of course. But I have to say, and you probably can't see this too much, but I do actually have a bit of a tan, and I do like to sit outside in the garden when I've got time to do a bit of reading. I read all sorts of books, as you know. This is a book about the old days of farming, and it's a lovely book with some great illustrations of how hay stacks and hay ricks were built, how ploughing used to be done in the old days. There's a lovely picture somewhere I wanted to show you, but of course I haven't got it to hand. But a fabulous look back. And I imagine in those days, you know, the sun was blitzing down and they were getting tanned. It's typical, I can't actually find the page, and how irresponsive of me not to have found it. But when you look at some of these pictures, it's interesting, I think, to see the farmers themselves. They're all dressed up in shirt sleeves, jackets. They all look great. And they don't, you know, they're not wearing all these slovenly clothes that you see people wearing today, t-shirts and shorts, and you know, they've got their hats, their tweed jackets, they've got waistcoats on, usually perhaps a grandad shirt or an open neck shirt, probably not wearing a tie in case any of the things like the threshing machine would sort of get it, you know, sucked into the machine and tied up, that kind of thing. And by the way, if you check out the bowler-hatted farmer, I'll leave a link in the description if I remember. He's got this beautiful little short video, about 40 seconds long, something like that, maybe a minute, of some farming in the old-fashioned way that is on the farm where he is, and with some of the old equipment, and they're sort of doing a reenactment. Definitely worth looking. But the sun beating down, what has happened to it? Has it changed? I've heard people talk about, you know, on the flat earth thing, that it goes round and round like this. I've heard other people saying it is changing from this orange to white because we're going through a change. It's all part of what's happening to the earth energies. And when you go back in history, as much as the history that we understand is really true, you also hear about the things that people used to worship the sun, didn't they? They used to love worshipping the sun. They thought it was a god. Maybe it is a god. It is the giver of our life. It is what we need more than anything else, and we need that vitamin D. Now, I think the chances are that there is what they're pumping into the atmosphere, what they're spraying, is likely to be what's making a lot of the sunshine, perhaps for the farmer I was talking about, Ronnie, not getting the tan. I think, you know, the various poisons and the various their so-called, what is it, stratospheric aerosol spraying program, I think that's more likely to be affecting us. And of course it's blocking out the sunshine. We get these days of big thick clouds, the duvet days, and they're not good. They're not good. I have to say that down in the south coast in Worthing, we have had some sunshine for a few days now. It has actually been nice, although it's Sunday as I record this, and I'm going to smoke my pipe and have a glass of water. And outside, I'd love to be sitting outside, you know, just getting the early rays of the sun. But no, they've decided. Now, we saw that, funnily enough, last night. We saw the sprays going over. And yeah, here it is. But that doesn't mean it's going to stay like that all day. It may change. I think that despite what the governments are doing or allowing or permitting with these permits for these guys to spray the sky, I think they're struggling. I think that there's something going on that perhaps is beyond us. Now, that may sound a little bit far-fetched to many people. Maybe it's in, I don't know, in another realm. Maybe there are people or other alien creatures or something that's helping us. Maybe it's the earth energies itself. Ultimately, the dark forces who are trying to keep us down and our vibrations low and keeping us miserable, stopping the sun from getting to us and that health-giving vitamin D, ultimately they can't win, because evil cannot win over good. It can only disrupt good, and I think it's down to us to call it out, to be positive, to keep our vibrations up, and like vermin, if you like, that scurries around and it comes in and infiltrates, say, a barn or a house if there's loose food and crumbs and things on the floor. If we keep our house in order, that scum, that vermin, that unwanted presence, the dark forces, if we keep our house in order, clean the floors, make sure the ricks are up on the staddle stones and things like that, if we do things properly, keep our vibrations up, I don't think that the dark forces can get a grip. And it is about waking us up to the evils that have been pushed on us. But it's very simple to push them away, and they get burnt by their own sulphur, is how I would imagine it. I mentioned a glass of water. I've got a machine here. You may notice this in the background. It's I've been given it to try out. The gentleman who's given me the machine, a chap called Craig, is going to come on the show. I've actually got another guy coming to do an interview about a different type of thing, because water is so very important. These two elements, the sun, the water, and of course the earth, the three elements there. There's another one, wind, isn't there? Anyway, the two elements that I'm talking about in today's video. Water is so important that it is pure, and so I'm fascinated and I want to explore these water elements. So this was very kindly offered for me to try out, and another chap is coming, and they'll be on the channel. I'm just going to see if I can get this going. And what this water does is it puts hydrogen, a little extra hydrogen, into the glass there. You can probably hear it filtering down. It also sort of filters the water in a special way, and I forget how it does it now. It's some sort of, I don't know, beam technology or something. I will read the instruction manual and go on the website. But anyway, Craig will be on the show. And another gentleman is going to talk about a different type of processing water that we can all do, because the stuff we get in our taps is just not good enough. And we don't have access to streams anymore that are clear. There may be the old streams in the old days. Cheers, by the way. That is lovely. We may have access to some of those streams, but the water is likely to contain runoff from the land, in which case it's going to also contain some of the poisons that farmers have been using, big farmers, big agricultural, pesticides, insecticides and all of that kind of malarkey, but also whatever they're spraying down from the sky, the barium, is it, and aluminium and goodness knows what. Some people have suggested that even the spike protein might be in there, you know, from the RNA, you know what, and that we'll get it that way. So that's likely to be landing on the land, and I've heard farmers say that their grass is not growing sufficiently this year. They managed to get one harvest and perhaps, you know, very meagre second harvest, which isn't very encouraging. And so if you're getting it from a stream or a spring where it's just seeped down to the aquifer, unless you get one, I think Buxton, it's very, very deep. And the water there is so deep that it hasn't been infiltrated with the surface water for over several hundred years, is what I was told. So it's coming out very pure. But unless you have that, what do you do? Now, there are, of course, these jugs that you can get. Of course, that's the sort of the cheaper option. And then there are tabletop machines like this. And, of course, then there are systems that you can have plumbed in so that not only can you have it coming out of the tap nice and clean and pure, oxygenated or structured, however it works, but you can also have then your shower, your bath, or cooking. And I only use the water out the jug at the moment for cooking. I'll have to experiment with this machine as well. Because the big problem is, how do you know that these gadgets actually do what they say on the tin? How can you tell? And there's a lot of faith in all of that, but it certainly tastes a lot cleaner. You start to smell the chlorine and all the other crap that they shove in the tap water. So anything that sort of cleans it up. But you've got to be careful with these systems, of course, that you put back the minerals, because they strip it of everything. You end up with pure water, but that water may not have some of those original minerals. Now, one of the things I like to do is take a pinch of Celtic sea salt, put it on the tip of my tongue, under the tongue, let it dissolve, and then I'll drink the water all the way down, a whole glass of it, and it sets me up, you know. And we should be drinking a lot more, hydrating ourselves very frequently. So that's what I should be doing. Anyway, I'll tell you more about the machine and the other water system in due course. And also, whilst I'm just saying about things coming up, I'm going to be showing you another response, or a method, if you like, of dealing with the council tax in videos this week. But in the meantime, I'm hoping the sun comes out, hoping that will shine on us and I can get my vitamin D. Otherwise, I'll be using one of Clive de Carle's vitamin D supplements a bit later on. And just to protect myself from any stray nasties, the nicotine from smoking my pipe is, for me, my little answer. Not everybody agrees, but it keeps my house smelling lovely. Anybody who comes in my house now says, "Oh, this smells like when my granddad was alive," and they're reminded because of the pipe smoke, and it's lovely. It's lovely when I hear those sort of comments, and actually people have been very nice about it, so I'm enjoying this very much. Anyway, I think that's about it for my Sunday, slightly relaxed type of video. If you enjoy this kind of more relaxed type of video, I would love to know about it. You can put it in the comments. But in the meantime, with my trusty Zippo, which I know is a petrol thing, and some people go, "Oh, petrol and tobacco." Yeah. It's only really to get it going. Which I have. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.